Okay, thank you for that introduction, Christer. That was actually one part of my presentation, so now I've done the first part already. So hi everyone, how are you?
Very good.
Good, thank you, that's good. I'm really thrilled to be here today to talk to you about this new business and innovation area that we have at Swedish ICT. My name is Jin Moen, and I'm the head of this business and innovation area since last fall. And at Swedish ICT, we have several business and innovation areas, and they go across all the 4 institutes that Swedish ICT comprises of. And the 3 institutes that are engaged in this business and area are Acreo, Interactive Institute, and SICS. And during my talk today, the next 20 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about what is Internet of Sport and why is it important. I'm going to give you some market facts and describe the market a bit. And I'm also going to present a little bit more, in particular, what we're doing here at Swedish ICT within this area. So, what is Internet of Sport? As Christer already told in the introduction, Internet of Things is an area that's really emerged during the last year. It's been applied to several different kinds of application areas, and sport is one of the really interesting parts. We've seen during the last years a really explosion of different kinds of wearable devices that track your fitness and physical activity. Most of them are based on some kind of heart rate monitoring or step counting. But as we see that the sensors are getting smaller and better and more accurate, we also have a lot of use of this even in the professional athletes. It can be for training, over there where they are putting sensors on the players in order to see their speed, their movements, and so on. And you can use this for tracking the progress, improve the physical activity and the results, but also to prevent injury. We see also that this area it's very much driven by the users, the consumers themselves. We see that in how the technology is used. We also see that in how the technology is developed. If we look at crowdfunding sites, for example, like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, it's crowded with different kinds of fitness or wearable devices connected to sports. We also see a lot of virtual communities, personal trainers coming in form of apps. The more organized physical exercise activities, the organizations, they are experiencing a lack or a loss of members. However, on virtual communities such as Runkeeper or Strava, there's millions of people using those communities and services all over the world. So if you go to a new place and you want to do some exercising or bicycle, you could just go to your app and you will get a lot of good advices on what you should do at your specific site. Another area that's concerned with this is, of course, the spectators. There's hundreds or millions of people that are really, really into sports. They don't do any sports themselves, but they consume it, either in front of the TV or on various digital platforms. And this is also what creates the basis for the industry around TV rights, sponsoring, trademarks, and licensing. So it's really a huge area. The area of Internet of Sport is also an area that drives technology development. And sport itself is a really good application area for testing new technology, because athletes, they are very keen on improving their results. They are keen on trying out new things. And you can also say that the consumer, they are really eager to buy themselves a little short way to improve their results and their health and fitness. One example is, of course, the wearable cameras. The action sports is really what introduced this to the market and created the explosions of those cameras. And more people are using this for these extreme activities. That also demands how the product should be developed. The material, it should be durable, it should be used in every kind of weather and temperatures, it should be light, it should have low battery capacity or high capacity, and low weight, it should be small. It puts a lot of demands on the algorithms for using data and also be able to share the data with you. So you need also the infrastructure and around sharing what you're actually doing. And the sports people are really interested in trying out this new equipment, and it's one of the industries where time from the actual idea and to the prototype and test in real life is one of the shortest. And Internet of Sport is also addressing one of the major issues on a global level. And the challenges, for example, of the sedentary lifestyle that we have. It's a lot of governments that have created programs that are addressing these issues. And I don't think that Internet of Sport can solve this alone. However, if we can create products and services that keep people or make people more physical active and let them maintain their level of physical activity that are suitable for their needs and purposes, I think definitely that this area can be a part of the global solution for this enormous problem. Okay. So, the market potential then. What is in the Internet of Sports market? The challenging thing with the Internet of Sports is that today it's not really established market. However, that is also the great opportunity here, because if we are engaging today in this market, we can really be a part of it and define it. And here Sweden has a really unique opportunity. The global market of sports has been estimated to 1.5 trillion US dollar, and with the current exchange rate, that is 13,000 billion Swedish crowns. That's on a global level. A few years ago, the Swedish sports industry was estimated to $70 billion, 70 billion Swedish crowns. And that is only 1.5% of the global market. So you see the big opportunity here, and that's really something that we would like to contribute to increase the global share of the Swedish market in this industry. And Sweden has a good starting point here, because Sweden is one of the most physical active people, especially in Europe. There are two different kinds of market research studies that show that the Swedish population, it's about between 60 and 75% of the Swedish population that says they are doing some kind of physical activity on a regular or quite regular basis. The mean value for that in EU is 48%. So the Swedes are really physical active. We also see that the number of gym and fitness centers, it's been exploding and more than doubled for the last years. We also see, as I mentioned, the increasing use of personal trainers in their apps, other kinds of communities for physical activities. For example, on gyms, we heard that people come in with their telephone and app and are using that as a personal trainer instead of the real-life persons that's in the gym. That means that people are organizing their own physical activity, but of course they need the facilities. There's, in this same survey, it was 10% of the population that said they participated in one kind of a race this year and also intend to do this next year. Addition to that, it was another 10% that said, I didn't participate this year, but I will do it next year. So that means that it's 20% of the Swedish population that actually intends to participate in some kind of race this year, and that can be running, it can be cross-country skiing, swimming, triathlon, bicycling, or whatever. Last year it was 700,000 starting in some kind of race in Sweden, and that was distributed over 600 races. So this is a huge business in itself. So that also means that this is something that's engaging people on every kind of level of physical activity. From the ones that's the only thing they do is to participate in this race once a year, to the people that are actually participating in several races. And this is also visible in the financial numbers. Swedish people spend 22 billion on sporting goods. That's an increase of 170% in the period of 2009 to 2013. And sport, it's the only retail area that's actually growing still, except from construction, building new house. And of course, it's not everybody spending as much, but approximately 40% of the population is spending 6,000 or more each year. So those people spending, they are really putting a lot of effort into this area. If we look at VISUALISATIONS, for example, which is one of the most known races, their turnover is 120 million Swedish crowns. The participants, they are not only participating, but they are also consuming a lot of equipment. 52 millions, and they need clothes for both running the race, but also training for 55 million Swedish crowns. So, and getting back to those 700,000 people running those races or going, the participation fee or registration fee in average is 350 crowns. That generates 250 million just for the registration fees. And another number, we're not only active when we're home, we also go on different kinds of vacations. Swedish people spend 10 billion on active vacation. That can be going for playing golf, going for skiing, and so on, or going on a training camp abroad or in Sweden. So clearly, these numbers are huge. And the question of why why Sweden should engage in this area is almost kind of obsolete when you see them. But just to point it out, this is a $1 trillion industry. It's not only $1 billion, as we have said in the startup world. Sweden also has this unique opportunity here. We have a world-known ICT competence already. We're known for being innovative, and we can work interdisciplinary. We're not that known for actually taking the innovation to the market. But this is where we have this great opportunity. And as I mentioned, we see that a lot of these products, they are coming from startups. And in Sweden, we have a great startup community. So feeding those startups out on the market, helping them grow, can be one of the keys to success for Sweden in this area. And as you see, we're sporting people. We have a great culture around sporting and physical activity in Sweden, and we can definitely be at the forefront of this development. So, I've promised you also to say something about what we're doing here at Swedish ICT within this area. And at Swedish ICT, we are focusing. One part is of actually making sense of all the data. Because there's a lot of people or organizations that they collect a huge amount of data because there are so many sensors out there. And you can just, we have sensor for that and this and everything. But if you don't know what you're actually going to use it for, it will only be, this huge cloud with a lot of data. So we are very experienced in working with different kinds of segments, different kinds of user groups and clients, and try to find their specific user needs in order to create applications, product services that are really useful for them and that have the functions that they are actually requiring. We can work with different kinds of users. It can be the athletes, it can be the coaches and trainers, it can be the arenas, the audience, or the media companies. We develop high-end sensors and actuators. We are experts in data analysis, algorithms, and different kinds of visualizations that are then specifically targeting the different kinds of areas. And in order to get all this together, we of course need the infrastructure for this. It's both the sensors network and the broader infrastructure and everything around that. So I'm going to go very briefly through a few of the projects that we are working with on Swedish ICT. Some of them will be showcased up in the exhibition later on, so please go and visit there. Here we have an augmented table tennis table that is equipped with piezoelectric sensors beneath or under. And this makes you able to actually record the whole match between two players. And that means that you can, afterwards, you can replay the whole scene to see what actually happened. And this creates an objective, so you can say, starting point for discussions between athletes and between the athletes and their coaches. So you can actually know what happened. It's not based on something that, but I felt like this and I did that. No, you did that. That's the kind of challenge we have within sports, that people are thinking things and it's a lot about tacit knowledge. But here you can actually have an objective facts about what happened. We are working with 3D suits equipped with a lot of different kinds of sensors that can be applied both in the health sector but also in the sports industry. We are working with product developers to develop sensors that can be put inside their products for POC here that really want to save lives and reduce damage or injury if the accident has happened. We are working with ICT infrastructure at the arenas, for example, in Falun, in front of the World Championship in cross-country skiing. We have been working with different kinds of specific target groups. The orienteering federation, for example, that we can analyze their running techniques. Similar have been done in the project that Pins actually spun off to a company, We Move, that we're working with the cross-country ski team in Sweden. Now they apply their movement analysis onto ice hockey. So they are developing their APIs and their analysis even further. We are also working, as I mentioned, with different kinds of visualizations. And by visualizations, I don't only mean the graphics visualizations. It also includes haptic and audio feedback. And in this example, we have put sensors on the hands and feet of a rock climber, and then you can afterwards trace or study how the trace actually was carried out and what they did. And that can be used to identify rooms of improvement and also to analyze what actually happened. We are working with alternative ways of visualize the sensor data. This is from a project that was measuring stress levels from a wristband with conductive sensors. Here you have your whole week from Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and different kinds of color correspond to different kinds of stress levels. So matching this with your calendar, you can easily see what's actually causing my stresses and where are there room for improvements here, for actually having a better life. We are not only doing this kind of development project, we are also working on a more strategic level in order to establish this business and innovation area. We have an innovation agenda project funded by Vinnova, where we have collected a lot of the different kinds of organizations and companies and institutes in Sweden that's really interested on this area to create a new business area or innovation area where you can stimulate the growth of Swedish companies. This work is in progress and the agenda will be available. August is the deadline. We are also doing this project in collaboration with GIH, Idrottshögskolan, here in Stockholm. And finally, I would like to invite you all to participate in our great event that will take place up in Åre next week, the Internet of Sports Day. We have collected a lot of both ICT industry and sport industry with the public sector, financial sector, to create a matchmaking place in order to stimulate the creation of new projects within this area. The full program is on internetofsports.com. internetofsportsday.com. If you're not able to come to Åre, we still have a few spots available. You can also follow this live stream on our website. Okay, so that was very quick, 20 minutes, not so long. To sum up, I talked about what Internet of Sport is and why is it important for Sweden to be part of this, and a little bit of what actually we are doing here at Swedish ICT. And as I said, you're so much welcome up to the exhibition later on to talk to my colleagues about some of the projects. I will also be available there. And if you have any inquiries now or later, please don't hesitate to contact me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you very much for an excellent talk. Questions?
Everyone is so engaged and want to start their own project right away.
So we have to visit Jin upstairs in the exhibition, and you can have discussions there.
Yeah,
so,
and exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.